right, welcome back, everybody. We have another testimony of our Ascend program, and this time it's my friend Tim Berger from Austria. And I think I was Tim's first facilitator. Is that
Pretty
true?
much, yeah. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and this was a couple of years ago. You were in a high school group,
Mhm.
and since then, Tim has been doing multiple groups, right? Doing Ascend High School, and then multiple other, I think, rounds of Ascend, quarters of Ascend.
Yeah.
And we're here to hear your testimony, how your experience has been. So,
Okay.
do you just want to introduce yourself briefly before we get into it?
Sure. Yeah, so my name is Tim Berger. I'm 19 years old. I'm currently finishing high school. And yeah, I've been with High Noon now for more than 4 years, actually. I had many different roles, I would say, or positions maybe, which I will share more about later. But yeah, I'm happy to be here and happy to share and help get a view into the world of High Noon and Ascend.
Fantastic. Okay. Well, yeah, I first wanted to ask, what was it that inspired you initially to join Ainu in Ascent?
Hmm. Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, I want to maybe go back a bit further. Before joining High Noon, I first kind of realized that really porn and masturbation is an issue while attending workshops here in Austria in my community. And yeah, we had like brothers afternoons or brothers nights where we would talk quite openly, and this topic then came up for the first time already after like 2 or 3 years once I got into once I got into contact with pornography. And yeah, it was quite a big hit for myself, kind of realizing, okay, that's something that I probably shouldn't be doing. And that kind of started my journey of, okay, trying to get rid of this bad habit, which, yeah, kept on going for many years, attending workshops, kind of realizing again, having this kind of cycle, okay, I should do something about it, but I wasn't really succeeding in anything. Um, until yeah, actually, yeah, 4 years ago, in 2020, when the COVID hit, I went into quarantine, and that was kind of the moment for myself where I realized, okay, that's something I really need to take on more seriously, because I was staying at home a lot more. I was really just stuck in this space by myself, in a way, and with not really any connection to other people except maybe my family. And yeah, I decided to join High Noon. I decided to do my first 90 days course of Ascent back then. And yeah, I can't lie, it was not what I expected. It was my first time I was really sharing with anyone about this problem. Before all the time on these workshops, I would really hesitate and not really share anything with my brothers and really stay silent, and in a way kind of wait for someone to approach me instead of me approaching someone else. So this was a big step for myself to kind of um, join that. And yeah, I remember I had like the first call with like a mentor, which was quite good. But yeah, during my first 90 days, yeah, it wasn't so nice. I can't lie. I was still struggling a lot. I didn't have anyone really supporting me so much. Um, I tried to join a group, but I didn't really feel connected as much because yeah, back then I was, I think, still 15 years old, and a lot of the people in that group were already, yeah, quite older than myself, and I just didn't really connect. I didn't really fit in, and yeah, after just halfway through the quarter, I almost gave up pretty much. I didn't really keep up with the daily courses, with the daily readings, and yeah, it was quite difficult. Um, but somehow I managed to keep myself back or get myself back on track. I got myself an accountability partner here in my local community, which was a very big help. I can't lie. And I had also ongoing support through my back then harp leader. And yeah, for this kind of two people that really helped me through this time during COVID and quarantine, I think I really was able to kind of accelerate my well-being a lot more. And then I was really able to stay more focused and committed to in my first quarter, which was really nice. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I got it. So you really started feeling a necessity to grow and step up, I guess, in your life, and you took that initiative for the one of the first times, right? To join something.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I mean, I think COVID was for everyone a really difficult time, and you have a lot of like thoughts that go through your head. And I just kind of really realized in what position I am. I was hiding more than ever at home, constantly trying to, in a sense, avoid myself and escape. And yeah, at that point, I just really noticed with how much was going on and how much I did it, that it was just too much and it was enough that I wanted to change something.
Mm.
But it really took some time, like I said, for multiple years. I just tried to do this by myself, and yeah, it didn't really work out. And yeah, making that step to kind of connecting and seeking out help was really big. Yeah.
You already spoke on and got into challenges that you were facing, right? When you were participating, maybe your first group that didn't work out so well, and you were still young and not many to connect to, and also internal challenges. So, maybe do you want to speak a bit more on that and what other challenges perhaps you had to face during your time participating in a sense?
Yeah, for sure. I think the most challenges I for sure had at the beginning when trying to join. Yeah, honestly speaking, it was just not really a given environment for a young person like I was back then. And yeah, there was no high schoolers group when I joined. Like you mentioned before, when I joined your group, that was the first of its kind, I think, where it really was trying to focus more on these younger people, and that was a big help. Um, but yeah, before that, I think right when joining, the level of commitment of having to really sitting down every day, even if it's just for 10 minutes, kind of get away from all of the struggles and problems, doing that reading of the 90 days course. I think that was, yeah, that of course was the most difficult part at the beginning, but in a sense, it was only a small step, I was just trying to get more knowledge, kind of consume, kind of see, okay, really where I'm at in all of this whole new world that I was basically entering. Yeah, I think it's also difficult for oneself to kind of realize that, yeah, I need to connect to other people. I need to ask for help. And that was definitely not easy. I can definitely say kind of reaching out to my accountability partner or my youth leader back then, that was not easy. And there were many tears that I shed, kind of sharing openly. But I think an important step as well. There were many more important steps of always kind of sharing honestly, um, which is never easy in my opinion. But yeah, of course, at the beginning, I still had many slip-ups. I still was struggling a lot. In a sense, always coming back to my accountability partner really made that difference. And yeah, kind of was one of the fundamental things at the beginning to really overcome. Yeah, and I think it was in a way also good like that, not jumping into maybe a group right at the beginning, kind of focusing on myself at first. Yeah, and trying to work with just like one person at a time, starting to share that instead of opening up to a whole group of guys who maybe I've never met before. I was really afraid and scared of what they might think of me. Even though I didn't know them, it was a really weird, strange feeling for me to kind of share that openly. And it was again really helpful to have someone that I knew and that I knew that would be able to love me back in a way, even though I shared this now, that they were ready to help me.
Yeah, thank you. So you started reaching out, right, to people that you knew, opening up to one person, finding a mentor for yourself, and then step by step working towards having a good experience in a group of new people, in a sense, probably. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the next question will be what has been or what was the turning point for you when things, or was there a turning point, or was it a process that, when it's the change from challenges to more progress for you and in your growth?
Yeah, I would say that it really took some time for me to take the next big step. I think reaching out to these two people was already a big thing. But yeah, I think the next thing, if not even the most important thing through my whole journey, was reaching out to my parents and sharing with them the struggles that I've been facing. I think it helped a lot that I was already trying to recover and that I had made progress. But still, I think that was one of the most difficult things that I had to say in my life so far. And but I think I can really say that that moment or that time was a turning point for me because after that I joined your group, the first high schoolers group after that, I think in January, beginning of 2021. And yeah, after that really was a time where I felt very, very free and relieved from this burden in a way. And yeah, it definitely was helpful to kind of share this with my parents to kind of get it off my chest. But I also want to say that in a way, I was maybe expecting my parents to be able to help me a lot more, which they sadly weren't really able to do. I think it was quite difficult for them to understand my situation or to know how to help me. Um, yeah, which really brought up other challenges in a way to kind of also add up to the question before. And yeah, already during this time, being at home all the time during COVID, yeah, there were a lot more confrontations between me and my parents. And yeah, it really shows how much more being open and being able to share with my parents, how much more important that was for me during that time. But yeah, in a way, it kind of backfired because I had too many expectations of my parents. And I was really hoping that they would be able to step in more, really help me out of this. But yeah, after some time when I think after maybe 2 quarters of yeah, really experiencing what the absence of porn and masturbation feels like, I fell back into old habits. And yeah, still during this time, it was still around COVID or like the aftermath. And yeah, I think that was a very difficult time between also me and my parents. And they weren't really able to give what I needed, which was really difficult for me. I think looking back at it now, it is something that I completely understand out of my parents' point of view. That it's not easy to kind of deal with that when your child kind of shares this with you. Um, and looking back, I should have reached more out to the people that really already were supporting me and kind of go towards them and kind of ask for help there rather than from my parents and just kind of try and accept the love that they were able to give to me. Maybe another thing that I want to point out, like after already joining a few quarters, I also participated as well, not participated anymore, but I became a facilitator myself. After already having some experiences or some experience in High Noon and joining groups, I yeah, felt the call that I could give something back and really help my brothers out in this kind of position. Um, and that was good. But still, like I said, after a few quarters, I was falling back into old habits, and I was in a position where I was kind of in a way trying to support my brothers, but that was really difficult because I wasn't even in a state of mind where I was happy with myself, you know. And yeah, I think that was another maybe challenge that really came up, but also a position where I was able to really grow through. You know, if it was a challenge that I was able to overcome in a way. And it really gave me a new point of view of kind of taking care of these people and kind of trying to give my own advice, which really yeah made me stronger in a lot of other ways, kind of being there as this maybe even older brother position. Yeah, which I think was a really important step also in my journey in Hainan until now. Kind of having that position gave me a lot of interesting viewpoints as well.
Yes, thank you for sharing that. That's a huge step, right? For many people like you, right? Getting to the point of sharing with our parents. And yeah, I think for many, we realize that our parents are maybe not the best accountability partners for us, right? Or sexual integrity mentors. Um, and they do the best
Mm.
in their ability to be there for us, but just don't have the tools, don't have the love. And then you moved on and made many different kinds of experiences, right? As a younger brother, participating, and as an older brother, facilitating for Ascend groups. Now that this last quarter, you were a participant again for Ascend, and specifically now, I guess, in this current stage of your life, what has changed for you after this quarter of Ascend, and where are you at right now?
Kind of clinging on to what I said before, kind of being there as an older brother, or being there for other people as a facilitator. I think, yeah, kind of when that started, there was a big stage of my life where I was really trying to invest a lot into other people in general. And yeah, I was really focusing so much on how to help other people, how to be there for others, for my community, for my brothers and sisters, even outside of Austria and the whole of Europe. And yeah, but the thing was, I wasn't really giving so much attention on myself. And yeah, especially in the past quarter, but maybe even the past 2 quarters, I was really able to kind of shift that attention more towards myself, which was a really important thing for me to do. Because yeah, I was basically neglecting myself, and I wasn't able to get healthier through that. I believe it's definitely still a process, but kind of having that kind of mindset shift, okay, I am important as well. I need to focus on what I need to, and I need to kind of get that help again. Really made a big difference through like my North Star goals, or maybe like the weekly goals I set for myself. I've been able to kind of make that mindset shift slowly but surely. Yeah, it's been not very easy because I'm really used to kind of being there for the people. And in a way, helping other people has become also a way of escaping. I don't have to worry about my own problems. I'm worrying about other people. But kind of through the realization, kind of trying to work on myself, being a participant again after being a facilitator for a few quarters really helped me to kind of focus again on myself, like I said. I think that was one of the biggest changes I've made so far, actually, in my Hangman journey, which yeah has been already quite a long time. 4 years is not very short, I have to say, but I believe that this is one of the most important things I've realized about myself so far. And I think that's something I want to or need to go down even more. Yeah, I think especially as a, I don't want to say public figure, but maybe a youth leader, someone who takes care of other people. I think that's a quite important thing to also kind of take care of themselves. Sharing about this every week, saying, okay, how much I've actually done for myself or how much I've been neglecting myself, yeah, really made a difference. And at the beginning, it doesn't really seem the right thing to do. At least it didn't for me, because I was already so much in this mindset of, it's so good to help other people. It's so important to this or that. And I don't deny that at all. I think it's a very good thing if you want to be there for your community. But at some points, you yourself need to come first as well. And that took a long time for me to realize. And not only realize, because in a way it already made sense before, but actually putting that to work and trying to find the time for myself and finding good time for myself in a way, because there's a difference between me trying to escape again through just being at home alone, scrolling through social media, like watching a TV show, whatever. That is not the time where I take care of myself. I'm just kind of in a way escaping something again for a different way. So kind of really trying to cut down all of this was really a big step to kind of open my eyes more and kind of really see how much I have been neglecting myself and how much I've been hurting myself. I've just been using different ways of escaping from those feelings again. That's a change that I've definitely felt, especially through the past quarter. Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I think a very important message for a lot of people, actually, that we can get addicted to being needed by others or being able to help others and please others, right? But neglect or avoid our own needs and how to take care of ourselves. Something I can relate to a lot myself, and probably many of, youth leaders or people who just have the feeling that they need to be good all the time and there for others all the time. Yes, thank you for sharing that. To wrap it up, and you've already gotten into it, but to have it more articulate, how did Ascend help you grow and heal and overcome your shadows? If you could summarize that, I guess, or add to it.
Overcome my shadows is to kind of really focus my attention to where I'm heading, kind of go towards the light in a way. And rather than focusing on the shadows and the dark parts themselves, Yeah, I think in general that is a really core aspect of High Noon or Ascend itself. And I really, really like that. The thing is that when trying to focus on something different, again, there's many like difficult decisions that you need to make to be able to not only change the direction, but actually take those steps. What I want to share, just to kind of wrap this up, like you said, is really whenever like my situation with like porn and masturbation or like my sexual integrity got better was when I made those difficult decisions. Because in a way, I kind of knew inside myself that these decisions that I had to make, they were important, and I knew what the right decision was. It was a difficult decision, and quite often they are, especially when trying to grow and become a better human, a better person, a better man. Really trying to focus on becoming, this, in the end, a better child of heavenly parents, of God.
Just wrapping up, how do you think Ascend has helped you grow and heal and overcome your shadows?
One thing that I've really learned is that it's important not to focus on the shadow itself, the problem itself. Yeah, this is also really a core aspect of High Noon or Ascend itself, trying to focus on the light in a way, and the opposite of your problem, of trying to focus on yourself growing and becoming better. And more and more I'm realizing how important that actually is. But the thing is, it always comes with a catch in a way, because when trying to head this direction, uh, you don't often realize how good actually that decision is that you're making, whatever it is. And those decisions, they're always super difficult and they're uncomfortable. You don't want to make that decision in a way, even though deeply inside of yourself, you know what the right choice is. Yeah, I really realized how important it is to deeply go into yourself and focus on exactly that. And this kind of focus or this thing you're trying to put attention to is something that goes beyond kind of your basic understanding. It's not rational in a way, in my opinion. It's really something more on a, maybe even spiritual level, I would say. However you want to achieve that, through prayer, through meditation, that is really up to you. But I've really noticed for myself that whenever I'm able to make that right decision, the growth or the joy, the happiness that comes after that is totally worth making that difficult decision and going through that sometimes long, but sometimes also short process of kind of overcoming that. And it's difficult to realize that. But yeah, in the end, it's always worth it. So I really want to encourage also everyone to kind of think about those decisions that you're making and really think about, okay, is that the right decision or not? Then make that step. And afterwards, you will notice that you're just feeling a lot better and you are actually going the right direction. You are going away from your shadows and you're focusing on the person who you want to become and who you want to be. Yeah.
Great. Thank you, Tim, for being willing to share your testimony with everyone. And thanks for all the progress you've been making and you continue making. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in again. This was another experience, right, of one of our participants and facilitators of Ascend for multiple years already. And we'll see you in the next one.